Greetings. Today I want to speak to you on the subject of the I Am Revolution Emancipation. This I Am Revolution is what would have emancipated me from every form of mental slavery. And this revolution would have taken place inwardly, where I discover myself as a fiery being. I discovered myself as pure consciousness. I discovered my invisible self, and I experienced alchemy. As a matter of fact, I became alchemy. It is where my inner self transmuted from spirit or energy, whichever term you want to use, into the material, physical, three-dimensional world, where I find myself as a little child being born again. A birth that takes place within. And that is what would have brought me to the consciousness or the awareness of I am and the power of I am. Someone heard me speak about the I Am Bible, which is my Bible, the 66 books of magic, where Jesus have been omitted and there's a blank space for you to write your name, which is I am. And they said to me that there is a course, a discourse, called the I Am Discourse. But I've never had any prior knowledge of any I Am Discourse. I became aware of the power of I Am based on the experience of awakening that took place in my life. And that is why I will never ever again in my life say that I am broke, I am weak, I can't do this, I can't do that. Every time I use the word I am, I know it have to do with my identification. I know it have to do with my divinity. And I will never desecrate the name of God, because I am is the name of God from generation to generation. It always be a memorial. And I can never say I am and not referring to myself. So, to cut a long story short, for many, many years, I was trapped in secular Christianity that has been pointing me to look outwardly. As a matter of fact, that's the way how everyone in my country has been raised. For we have to go through the school system, and in the school system is the religious system. And so we were never taught to believe in ourselves. We were taught to believe in an entity on the outside. We were taught to trust a God on the outside. But when you really dig deeply and you understand more correctly concerning the entity that they're teaching you about to be your Lord and your Master and your Savior, you would realize they're only talking about the man, the messenger, but they never speak about the message that the messenger, the man, would have taught. They never do that. And so I realize that all the religious systems, they are only speaking about what the messenger would have done. They're only speaking, about the messenger, I should say. So they get you going wrong, talking about the messenger, but never performing the things of the messenger, because you're not being taught the message of the messenger. And so the message of I am came to me through an experience. And that experience is what taught me that real knowledge is truly knowing by experience. So anything that you just regurgitate, you just believe because you get it from someone else, it would definitely trap you in conformity. But if you really want true transformation, it could only take place mentally because everything is first birthed in the mind. In other words, it must be birthed inwardly in your consciousness, your awareness. So the universal question of life would always be, who am I? And when the answer comes, it will always be, I am that I am. Which is to say, I am whatever I believe myself to be. For as a man thinketh in his heart, which is speaking of the subconscious mind, his invisible self. As he thinks in the invisible world, so shall it be established in the visible three-dimensional world. So you think in secret, and it materializes itself. So you are naked, and you can never be your true self can never be hidden. It would always be expressed. Okay? Thus the reason why you have to seek the Father who is in secret, and the Father is speaking of your I am consciousness, your I am awareness, which will point you to your ability and your creativity, and most of all, your divinity. Okay? Because your real identity is actually your divinity. You are a spirit just having a human experience. And that is the truth that would have emancipated me from every form of mediocrity, poverty, and most of all, mental slavery. Because I born and grew up in a colony that was colonized by the oppressors who taught a theology to keep you in doubt and fear and guilt and shame. But in all, is to really conquer you by fear. But when I found love within myself, it helps me to discover the power of I am. That is why I will always say, I am, beating my chest, saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. For the truth is within, the way is within, and the life is within. So, my brother, my sister, if you're listening to me and you've been using I am in a wrong way, you've been using I am to defeat yourself because you're carrying a wrong self-doubt and self-hate. And you think that you are limited when you are limitless. If you be willing to unlearn and relearn and reprogram your subconscious mind, then you would experience true transformation because you rearrange your mind. Okay, so as I come to a close, I want to say to you, always use I am in a very positive and uplifting way. And every time you say I am, remember that is the name of God. And you can never say I am and you're not referring to yourself. So revolutionize your life and emancipate yourself with the I am consciousness, the I am awareness. That is why you have to start with self-love. Start to learn to love yourself and believe in yourself and embrace yourself. There's no true messenger that can ever come to you pointing you to look on the outside for any Lord or Savior Redeemer. All true messenger will always point you to look within because they will discover for themselves that everything exists in consciousness. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you listen to me, what I'm saying, if it really makes sense to you, if it really resonates with you, and you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at Black Mad Guru. If you like to get my books, the links are down in the description. You have about 10 or more books to choose from. Also, if you want to join my Free Thinkers and Seekers University, you're welcome. I always try to post a video there weekly. Okay, more of a masterclass to help you in your spiritual journey. Also, if you want to become a part of my Patreon community, for those who are donating $20 or more, I have a course there for you That's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. And with the Inner Sun Science and Technology, I'm teaching you that the sun, as in the SU, and how it parallels the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there's no light, and there's no light. And without the human imagination, there's anything made that was made. And the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. So, as I end here, my last encouragement to you is to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below, and definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all.